This is your Daily 5 for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. This week has been sort of a weird one, and next week will be as well, because normally we've been going to 2 movies a week so that we have more time to talk about them and not have 15-hour-long shows. But because I'm also doing the late-night double features with Doug right now, we are watching the movies that Doug and I will be discussing at length, longer shows. We're watching those, Lando and I, separately, as part of our, watch together week. So there will be 2 other films that will be more closely related, but we watched, I should say, 1993 Super Mario Brothers, Lando and I. Now, Lando hadn't seen it in a long time and remembered not liking it. It's probably been, I know the last time I saw it, it was not remastered in HD quality, and it has since been released actually in a limited 4K, which is sold out almost everywhere, with an extended cut available that at some point we'll also be watching. But I hadn't watched it since it had been released on Blu-ray, so this was kind of the first time I'd seen it really good high def. And honestly, I've always liked this movie. I know it has a pretty bad reputation. Some of that, when you watch it, you understand why. I think some of it is unfair. And so Lando actually expected to dislike it. And in the end, we both liked it. Now, I think I liked it more than Lando did because I've always liked it. Whereas I think Lando was surprised that it wasn't worse like he remembered it being, which I think is the case for a lot of people. Is they remember it being bad, but probably have not watched it since either it was in theaters or at least when it was playing around on different movie channels, back when movie channels were a bigger thing. So the reality is, as a Super Mario Brothers adaptation, it's strange. And this is one of the things that Doug and I will be delving into on the longer episode where we talk about it, is the fact that this movie has a bit of an identity problem, a bizarre one, because in many ways, and this may shock a lot of people who haven't seen it in a long time and only have vague memories, it is a shockingly faithful adaptation of the core concepts of the early Super Mario Brothers games. I think when this one came out, I don't know if Super Mario World was out yet. I want to say it was, but this is basically the early era of the Mario Brothers franchise. And many elements that are in fact in those games are represented correctly in the movie. And I think that's the thing that's sort of strange about it, because they are accurately represented, meaning they're there and their operation is relatively correct, but they are placed inside of a movie that is so artsy and strange and weird that it would alienate most mainstream audience members, because even if they recognize the Mario elements present, they're present in such a warped way that anybody who really wanted a totally faithful adaptation would probably be put off. And the thing that this movie has reminded me of as I've thought about it more since seeing it is what it really makes me think of is the David Lynch version of Dune. And I will bring this up when Lando and I talk about it. Is this feels like an adaptation in that style. There are people like me who love David Lynch's Dune, but understand that it is a very, very specific adaptation of the source material with some serious contradictions and certain things accurately represented, but represented in such a artsy, strange, and surreal manner that it will not work for mainstream audiences. And this movie is the same. I think if you come into it looking for something that is unique, interesting, and different, you're going to appreciate a lot of it, especially if you find, as I do, that many modern films, especially when they're adaptations, are far too conventional and safe and just sanded off of any personality or individual vision. This movie is pure individual vision. I'm not saying it's a great movie, technically, but it is a fascinating example of risky storytelling with a major property. That Nintendo allowed this movie to exist at all is unthinkable right now in the modern day. Now, I don't know whether movies like this will ever be allowed to exist again, where they are so off the beaten path for a major lucrative property. Again, I don't know if that time will ever come back around again. So if only as a example of when kind of risky movie making with major companies involved was allowed to happen, I would actually recommend the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993. It's not necessarily good, but there is something about it that's pretty great. Later.